Alrighty. So, coming to the close of another pretty badass week, uh, especially the last couple of days here, seeing some of these levels break. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our three ETFs, then take your guys' requests. But of course, if you took part in yesterday's swing to the downside after IWM decided to fall back in and underneath, we did gap down. We did actually, yeah, try to retest that 218.11 in pre-market, and then we fell, right? And as of right now, we're closing pretty close to the top of we could consider what we can consider to be a box. And it's two boxes on top of one another, so it's not empty space. But of course, this does, you keep us looking at the potential for to next week again. 4 hour candles kind of slow. That's three next week going up and retesting. And so I think next week, at least at the start of next week, we could see some potential retest. Now, if you're still looking to the downside, we could still see on IWM a 211 target to the downside. However, if you take those, now this is a low risk, high reward potential situation, but it is 219. That is the gap fill up above you, so you can use that to hedge. If you're going long, you can use what's down below you to, and on the 2 hour, right? And this is kind of how you're going to have to play this, but since it's so rocky on the 24, 211.50 and maybe 209. So you could use those price targets again. Market never bottoms on a Friday. I don't know. I mean, I don't pay attention to anything. I focus on the levels, the chart in front of me and what's there. So, however, if we did see a gap down and we are closing close enough to potentially see that, we're even seeing resistance. That gap down would provide a even better opportunity to get. And I'm not, again, a retest is for continuation to the downside. So filling that gap, right? Little bull trap, and then we run it back down. But anyway, that being said, 24-hour time frame. If you are looking for a swing, we caught a big one. And so the next leg down here, if you even go and look at these breakdowns, kind of similar to what we're seeing now, those still had a couple of days of sideways action on top of some sort of structure or floor before continuing to the downside. So that being said, let's take a look at the Qs, where we did see a pretty aggressive leg down today, executing a punchback on a lower time frame and landing, right, basically in the box. And so now we're looking at this one, yes, potentially moving down to this 24-hour range. Now it's a range, not a box. If you go to the 4 hour, you'll see that range and why that's a good target of 540 or 548.35 to the downside. Again, this is somewhere if we could pull ourselves up by the end of the day above cost basis. Next week, anything above 557.25 would offer retest. One thing I noticed from the Qs, though, is it took care of its empty space before continuing to the downside, other than that gap. So if IWM goes for it, then Q is going to go for it. But with that being said, that is our floor. And so if we see a small gap up or we open up in this range, then Monday might open up and build into the rest of the week. So again, clear signals. I'll say this, that's a really aggressive candle and that's on all of these ETFs. That is definitely going to potentially drive fear into the market. And it could just be a brief retest that provides another opportunity. So if you decided to speculate on downside, again, if you've made money and you can afford your risk, this system does reward low risk, high reward situations with good, solid price targets. Now, that being said, if this is a real pullback where we're going to flush through our structure that's underneath us, which is not nearly as thick as it was here, and we still did it, then I have a price target for those of you looking for a little bit of a longer target at 540 and runners into 535. So that's the cues right now, and yes, that is a big. That I don't see us, I don't see us reversing immediately off of this without testing something sizable underneath us. So, all right. Oh, there's the ban. Unk, should I invest in deep sea mining stocks? I don't know. I have no idea. I would look at the chart and find a place to get in that makes sense. If you like the company, that's fine. But you need to have a plan because again, that's what this is system is for. I don't know shit about Elf, but I know that big boys are buying them and they're you know in all the stores. But what kind of opinion is that? That being said, I just looked at what Alta did and looked at what Elf had done on its journey to the downside, and just took that trade at where it made sense technically, and held it from there. So. Um, all right, so last one, and then we'll go ahead and get to your request. Now, this looks pretty obvious, right? And again, I could see a third major leg down here to 612, right? So next week, yes, we have a lot of empty space above us, but if we were looking at this on a 5-minute chart, we would assume that we would be looking for a leg down, into the 612, 612.85 and 613 area. So 4-hour time frame, there's little to nothing. There's a gap underneath you, and shit. If you look at the most recent price action, we shouldn't suspect or look for a serious bounce other than that 612. If that flushes cleanly, this is the most recent price action that has the most volume, and that's 603. So we're looking. I mean, we could be moving into a quick bearish market again. We look at some of the bigger pullbacks that we've seen. This one, big gap up, move back down, and then you gap up. So that's why we would hedge in this scenario, because if and that's what I think takes away a lot of the risk here, is if you can hedge accurately on whatever it is that you take, that's likely some sort of anomaly happened where we did get a major gap up and a squeeze out to retest some of these bigger levels, you'd be protected. So that being said, let's also take a look at SOXS. Now, this is basically kind of, just looking at the semiconductor, and I know what happened today might have been a little scary. I could care less. It has not lost anything, and I'm pretty much considering this to be okay until 750. But it is like the rest of the market, because if I tip this over, it looks just like SPY and everything else, right? So with that being said, I still like our target and our expiration. So, alrighty, let's go ahead and take a look at the requests that we have for today. Go ahead and post those, please. Amazon thinking of getting equity. So, after these big jolts down, typically, and you'll see on the 4-hour here, it did try to make an attempt, even on the 24-hour, it tried to make an attempt to go back up and grab that floor, and it was unsuccessful, right? So you could just go ahead and consider that floor to be what it is, and where uh, you could consider that to be where you would want to get in. Eyes up here. I'm just kidding. We're getting there. $9 is the target. September is mid-September, I think, is our expiration. I'm looking right now. But so anyway, that being said, look at the weekly, and we are coming to a close on the weekly, folks. So take a look at your weekly candles. You don't need me to do that for you. We'll look at them, obviously, but some of the levels that we held before, right? Amazon has lost, and here comes that 217 again right here. So getting above that, right, or even there's a good chance that you could even retest that 217, 218 level. But what's underneath you, right, is likely going to dictate where you go from here, and that would be 207.85. Because if that breaks, you got a gap down there at 193, and that's probably going to get filled. So, um, God, this reminds me this. I wonder if Amazon goes into a range like it did here, but just way bigger. All right, cool beans. Let's see the 24-hour actually really quick. Yeah, so the 24-hour does have two boxes sitting on top of one another. And that definitely could be, yeah, you're at cost basis now. So again, hedges this week, keep them cheap, out of the money and target based. And, you should feel good about going into the weekend. So, all right. SQQQ up to 21. So obviously, okay. Anyway, that being said, yes, this one, like SOXS, is pushing and closing basically at the levels that we would need to see continuation. That being said, this is obviously perfect replica of the Qs, and $20 is where we would need to see a break. Now, 21, I think might be short-sighted because there's a target all the way at 2184. So obviously the wick can be a great place to trim, and that's 2150, but up into that structure. No, hate tech stuff. Let's see here. What was the oh yeah, ULCC. What the hell is this? Up. Well, now's obviously not the time, right? We wouldn't want to take this now because you are underneath all of these levels. Now we want to take trades that are confirming that there is empty space above, and that doesn't happen until 446. Period. End of story. There's also more empty space underneath you down here into this range, and possibly all the way to 370. So probably not yet. Snow down. My pleasure. And yes, I did take a short. I hedged myself. This thing popped up. I think that was an after hours. I thought, yeah. So that was something that was kind of out of my control there. But I didn't even see it. It ripped up. I did hedge myself on those hedges. I was kind of trapped, and then it literally free fall back down. Those contracts ended up higher than they were when I took them because of IV, and it broke cost basis, broke cost basis, broke cost basis, and now sitting basically at the next one. With this type of trajectory, I see no reason why we shouldn't be aiming for 193 with runners possibly going into another $10 away at 183. So I see no reason to the same thing to the upside as the downside, folks, right? And I know it might be scary right now, but I still have to do my job. And my job is just flipping this shit upside down and looking at what's up in front of me, right? What have I lost? Now, of course, we can hedge using the Qs or anything of that nature, but the obvious, again, don't be scared. Don't be a wuss. You prepared for these type of setups. If you're adhering to your good risk and you're okay with, every once in a while, most of the time we get rewarded. Every once in a while we got to pull our pants down and get smacked, but that's all right. Because if we're using good risk, the paddle is made of foam. You know what I'm saying? So, all right.
You little ketchup bottle.
I don't like that at all.
Nalguita.
All right. Calm down. All right. So, like everything else is pulling back into structure, I still see some empty space in the 4-hour showing us that cost basis is still a potential target. But rest assured, that is going to be a good play. Eventually, we'll see where it goes. But use that box, right? There you go. That box, you can see the wicks. Obviously, that's a floor. So getting above that floor, empty space, 1541. Yeah, so I see 193 or 183, excuse me, on that one. AG down. So again, you got to be ready for a journey. I don't know about next week's contracts based on the way that this thing is moving. We just got to be honest with ourselves. I mean, yes, it does hit the dumpy. You know, sometimes if you look over here, build a box, move down, bounce, and then flush. I mean, it really takes a lot of convincing to get this thing down. And you're seeing that same type of price action with what we described this morning playing out as we speak.
So you think I should just get out and focus on something else?
No, I think you should
Because I'm
stick
in
to.
next week's
I think you
contract.
should see this way all the way through, to stop loss. You started it, you finish it. You know, if there's no reason for you to get out, now if there's a reason maybe to roll your contracts, but 720. I mean, again, what have you lost to the upside, or what has happened that would make you think otherwise? And right now, I mean, yeah, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it is what it
Not
is. Yeah, I mean, maybe next time we find something that, again, I mean, who am I to say? This thing could give us a nice juicy leg down.
No,
Um,
you're right though. I like just missed out on actually looking at how it reacts to open space.
that's
So
okay.
I kind of had a one track mind with it, but I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah, I got my whole account in this, so
Okay, calm down. Um, you took profit off of KSS, right? Like,
yeah,
what you
definitely.
withdrew it, right? Like out of your account.
Yeah.
All right, good. Uh, can you please help me with choosing the right contracts for a SPY hedge? All right. Well, I'll help you find them. Yes. But first of all, right, we're going to go to the lower time frame and we're going to look for the same thing that we look for plays to the upside, correct? So where do you see empty space to, John? And if you can find that target, right, or what would likely happen, because again, we've got two bounces at 619. You've got a structure here, 624. You've got another one directly up above you. So that's where the worst case scenario is that we gap up above 624, squeeze out, and fill the gap. Why? Because it has empty space in pre-market leading us up to that. So 630, right? Now I'm not looking at the contracts for now, so you got to let me know what those are. But exactly, 630 up. That's how. So if you guys ask me, I'm answering this question now. If you, for those of you who are especially outside of the Discord, how do I find my hedges in scenarios where maybe we're not holding what we should, but we got a good candle close on the 24-hour? I'm going to the lower time frames, hourly, 4 hour, 30 minute, and I'm looking for what is the worst case scenario, or essentially what's the play to the upside, or the opposite play. If you can find the other side of that trade, then you have your hedge. Because again, we have a superior targeting system where we know where price is going to move rapidly. Excuse me. Thank you guys for tapping your screen. Appreciate you. All right. MU continuation of the downside, NVST up. Okay, so you are holding. One thing that MU does is surprise me. I mean, that surprising. You know what I mean? That a surprise. I mean, this thing is. I mean, just the whole weekly punchback into empty space. Was also bewildering. That being said, you are well below here and here, right? And if you go look to your left, that's been something you've wicked off of multiple times. That's 106. And you're sitting on top of the only thing we can really see to our left with a small gap, which it does look like you might have filled that up. And then a target of 99.50 to the downside. So if you are swinging this or you are already in, the only thing that you can do if you feel like there's a potential reversal is the same thing I just said on everything else, right? And we are in that scenario. I think it's worth speculating. I think this is definitely worth speculating. And we can see, again, where those no spots are at, right? We know that if MU pops off the floor, right, or gaps up and is above 106 at 75, you're going to hit this gap. right? You might even go up into this floor here. And that would be retesting here. And that makes sense, right? So if you can hedge for that, if that makes sense on paper, then you know, and this is obviously going into the weekend here. Um, you know, you just if it's already in profit, sometimes you just let it do its thing. I mean, stop out where you need to. If you got a good expiration, same thing. Yeah, we did SOXS. It's everything is fine on that one. I'm still swinging it. Got a good long expiration. It's there for, you know, I mean, who the fuck knows what they have planned for over the weekend. I mean, we always see this shit on the chart, right? I didn't need to see NFP numbers to know that we were going to dump. You know, you looked at all the ETFs, they closed underneath floors. They retested those floors before the bell, and I had to go early, but that's what we were talking about. All right, NVTS up 24. So good wick. That's convincing enough, you know. But I will say you are moving into structure, and that's what you're tapping right now. So it is going to be cost basis that'll ultimately decide that. Now, I do think that if you move down to the 30-minute, that box will all of a sudden shift. So a lower time frame candle would be needed slightly higher than what your higher time frame candle would be. And so I would say 838 and then 865 above there. You're looking good. Oh God. All right. Um, so for snow, I rolled my what happened? I've got the snow. Where are we at here? I have 190 puts for August 22nd, and I have 175 puts for September 5th. So that's what I got. All right, Neo. So surprisingly, China China is moving against the grain, right? That being said, I got to stick to the plan here. The plan, right? Look at the weekly. You know, we got a little weird red candle here, but I mean, it's not a surprise. So I'm gonna hold what I got and look at what's up in front of us, which is again the only target that I have on Neo is 535. So, you know, if you want to swing weeklies or something up to that, you know, again, it's not empty space. It's a little wonky, but you know, I'm holding what I got, and I have the $7 calls for September. So, did it dump hard? Yeah, Neo and the gang, they're all, you know, they're all stocks that need to be, you know, possibly hedged. So, all right, let's keep going. Marvel. Woof, nasty wick up, fill your empty space, and then pull back down, candle close in the box. And today you've dropped down into that, so I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be retesting or touching 72.67. And then that, you know, as ugly as it is, I would suspect you would be looking at it, yeah, the 68.26 target. Now, I think that's big because once you dip into this range, I think you got a pretty juicy $64 target. So 364% since Wednesday on Starbucks puts, PB for the W. I'm getting better every day, little by little. That's what it takes, man. That's beautiful. Mel, I am holding my snow position, and I'm aiming for 194.50. But I also, again, want to repeat, please don't buy my contracts. I'm trying to sell them to somebody else, not you. All right. We got Trip. Yeah, so I think some people in the Discord were trading this one $16, where it was directly underneath you. There's a lot of empty space in the most recent price action. I mean, hell, it failed a punchback, which again happens very rarely, but is trumped by a weekly wall, right? The weekly wall has the bigger um, catalyst. So I think yes, there's period, end of story. I hope I don't get struck by lightning right now. It is coming down right now outside. Come here. Oh no. Monitor was a little weird. So I think you have a $16 target, but I think you have the ability to reach down to 15.20 next. And from there, who knows? But yeah, that's why I see that would be an interesting bounce and reversal if it could. 92 out of 96 times. Where'd you get that stat? SPX is down over 1.5% on Friday. Monday takes out Friday lows. I see another candle. I see Monday. So this is my instincts are telling me that we see another leg down on Monday, juicy leg down, and then the rest of the week is quick bounce back up, not all the way. And then I think we could chop going into the rest of the week, unfortunately. But again, they have those stats. Okay. I mean, that's good to know. I like statistics. I also like Keep the Kate. Back to bed. Sorry, dude. All right. Amazon calls are 90% off right now. Yeah, just because they're cheap doesn't mean they're good always, right? Lucid all the way back down through its empty space, following this channel, right, to a T. I do see it hitting structure. Again, get rid of all of this nonsense and focus on what's horizontal. And you are bouncing, damn, I mean, pinpoint right off of cost basis. So I could see a reversal going into next week. I see a 277 target. Inside of my free Discord, I have the SPY, QQQ, and IWM analysis is posted in there. And so a little weird, obviously with the gap above it. It is at cost basis, so that is something that if I had taken that or was planning on taking it, I would hedge for the worst case scenario, which would be a reversal to 95. I don't know what those contracts are. You could probably stretch that out to like 90, 98 or 99. But with that being said, yes, if you can punch down, it's not a much, 84.35. I don't think that really holds up very well, and I think you go to that $80 target psychological hole. But yeah, ultimately, it's levels first, and that's where that is across the board. So, um, there was a lot of put to call ratio volume yesterday going into today, so I kind of figured. Oh, yeah, I mean, I didn't even see anything on that. PLTR up. I am in snow short, Danny. So PLTR not showing weakness today. For fuck's sake, if anybody tried to short that, it's got very little empty space underneath it, so it's gonna do exactly what you see. That being said, There is a potential to go and retest 145 if we see continuation to the downside, but you did stop and hold that 50% mark. You are rejecting now. So if you do end up seeing, yeah, that breakdown, I would be looking for a target, 140, 480. You've already tapped that. So 143.50 would be next. All right. So just to recap on snow, I am still short on this one. I mean, huge monster leg down. At this point, it's kind of like, damn, slow down, chill out because it's almost too much. It almost is hitting like a damn earnings candle already. But I mean, snow rips just as hard sometimes. If you notice, or dumps in the same fashion. So with that being said, I'm gonna hold for the 194 target and see if I can't weasel my way into some 184 TPing. So all right. No, I did buy more yesterday, but I I bought some before the pop and hedged them, and those contracts got the shit kicked out of them, and I kind of got trapped in them, which still low risk, but I wasn't happy with that, and then it immediately just flushed, so it was kind of a blessing. And if it's going back in the direction, I'm not somebody to like break even and get out. Like if I got in and I break even, then cool. I'll just keep doing what I do, problem solve, look at what's above me. All right, so you've got again, is this a red candle close at the floor? Did it refuse to retest above 1075? Yes. Um, so it's yes, you got a good bounce, but then what did you hold on to, or what did you recover when you did? And you didn't recover anything. You're still well below 1063. So I got to look at what's left of me, right? And I'm going to go ahead and assume, yes, I see the wicks that are underneath here at 994. So naturally we would be looking there next. But if that's lost, I have no reason to believe that we won't go touch the 880s. And that would obviously be true in the same fashion with Tesla, which has a much farther away target. But again, don't sleep on it. That being said, it is absolutely something that because it hasn't lost it, I would be looking at some ridiculously far out priced hedge. I do believe Tesla is going to move soon, big, as it usually does. Again, coming out of this consolidation, we got a pretty sizable move. Well, basically the length of the consolidation. So I would be expecting a pretty gnarly leg down. Maybe 255 would be 255 is, yeah. Fed Reserve Board member to resign early. Somebody is paying people off. Someone is paying people off so they can get people on the board that can fucking get lower interest rates. Did you guys see that we're getting the White House is getting a $200 million ballroom with gold everywhere? It looks like the oligarchy or the Russian oligarch type shit. It really does. I'm not even capping. There's gold everywhere. Crazy.
Hey Garrett, there's like rumblings that the jobs data was messed with, so that could be one of the reasons why the Fed reserves are resigning.
I've heard that some of the data that we're getting isn't even like they're not even tracking that data. That they're just kind of like making up numbers. I'll have to send you this video, Robert, because I let people with bigger math brains to handle that shit.
All
But
right, you send it up. I love that stuff.
yeah, and I was like, I was I was like, there's no, if we're just running off of fake data, like just to, and even with the fake data, we're still inflation is still rising. So, but yeah, I'll send that to you. Better Adriana Gold is pushing up. That one I still think it blows its fucking top off. Maybe even if it's just 325, but that bounce today with the market ripping down, could give us that next wave up. So super tight consolidation. You know, TTI is also, you know, I'm sure Chad, that you guys are watching this, right? I know he's got a little triangle on it. I don't know if Chad's in here, but yeah, this one is, you know, obviously giving Poppy. Oh, you're on the phone. Tell them it's important. All right, so let's keep dropping those
I just
requests.
posted the market cap tickers or tickers by market cap that have earnings next week. All of those have over 2 million average daily volume, so there's no like liquidity issues with them. But that's all the tickers for next week that have earnings.
I'm gonna mute myself on TikTok.
You talking about me? Oh, I'm just laying here, bored.
Sorry, you guys couldn't hear that. Trump fired Commissioner of Labor Statistics after weak job reports. Oh my God. There's so much going on. It is legitimately hard to keep track of it. I might need to get AI on a fucking Sorry, Sammy. My bad. My camera's being so weird. All right. Yeah, keep dropping your requests. Camera's all crooked. It's kind of fucking with my OCD right now.
I just got an alert on GEN.
GEN?
GENI. Sorry.
Oh, Genie. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, if that's something you want to take. It's weird, man. I mean, it does have a lot of empty space up there, but looking at how it moves, I don't know what the options look like, but you do have that floor. Yeah. I wonder if it starts squeezing here. 344. What are I bet those are not bad though, right? That's gross. Those are kind of dumb. The $15 calls. That's ridiculous. See how they have the options set up? All right. SOXS. Yes, guys, that one is I'm still looking at this one, you know, to try to go and reach that $9 target. You know, my goal here is to focus on the ETFs. You know, so that way if I hedge on the ETFs, you know, and you can hedge on SOXS, but I personally am going to just shoot for 909. I mean, there's nothing really else to say. You know, it hasn't lost enough. It's building on the 1 hour. It could go and retest 755. I mean, at worst, it goes back to 730. You know, and you could, I guess you could hedge for that with next week's contracts. But other than that, you know, I'm in September. So yeah, that would be my only recommendation. His secretary was a reality show. Yeah. We posted that. It's in my page right here. All right, let me see. What else did I not get to? Did I do spot? No. Run spot run. Oof, that's tough. Okay, so we're missing a couple components here. The only thing obviously is yes, there is upside, but with this earnings, you know, you're gonna go ahead and box yourself out, or range, you know, And with that being said, if you can get a 4-hour candle close for 654, there's the upside empty space for earnings, and that makes sense. But downside there is, I mean, it is a mess down here. I mean, I see 600. I see, trying to even pin that, 595. So the more structure, the more choppy it is like this, the less I can get a good read. And usually with that, I go to the weekly, which consolidates all of that up. Now, the weekly in this case is closing, I mean, period, end of story, against that floor. So, looking at what's clear here, it looks like the target would be 575. Nike. So gnarly pullback on Nike. It did bounce today off of this. I mean, we talked about that level. Holy shit, that was on the money. So you held that, you filled your gap. I would assume that based on this chart, you're likely going to retest 75.33. Now pay attention to how you're moving, because it is very weak, right? As you're moving up into this box. So at most, this could be relatively easy to reject, but 75 here and then 76 right up in there. What time Sunday am I doing market prep? That'll be 6 o'clock, 6:30 probably. That I also, thank you for reminding me. We do next week is the first week of school, so I will be walking my daughter in for the first 2 days, because this is the last. No, it's not the last year. That was AO. But and then obviously AO's, going back too. So I'm gonna be trying to help mom out, get the kids going. AO's gonna be waking up at the crack of fucking dawn. Yeah. So, we'll prep on Sunday, and look at the earnings. There's some decent earnings. Kay just posted a chart. Maybe I'll stay on TikTok or something like that, and we'll make a quick earnings charting video. All right, Nike. Did I do that? Oh, yeah, not Nike. Spotify did that one. Starbucks. Okay, so that one does have a great deal of empty space underneath it, but the fact of the matter is, and this is where the higher time frame kind of saves you, is you are underneath. No shit, that went to, I stopped looking at Starbucks. Wow. I mean, wow. 85.50 on the penny. Honestly, that is something that you could look for, because it hasn't look at that, man. So yeah, and guess what? Your imbalance on this candle is the top of the box. So that is a perfect confluence, right? Above that, you go ahead and aim for 88.70. So yeah, as soon as the bell rings, we'll go ahead and I'll stay on TikTok. I might switch over to my phone because the band thing, but yeah, we'll take a look at there. All right, XEXL Alexius. So that one does, yes, have empty space. It's tried to punch back today, but ended up going to the imbalance of this big ass red candle and rejecting and getting pulled back underneath, which basically could potentially turn this into, I don't like the fact that you have those rejections there, but it could turn into you consolidate right there, right? Or B, a higher time frame box will be built and you'll end up coming back up. The first target will be this 2-hour candle, and because it's not a box, it's a range, you'll have to use all 3 of these as targets to get up into that empty space. So what ETFs am I swinging? I am probably going to swing the Qs for sure. IWM is always a favorite. I'm almost tempted to just swing the IWM up, because it looks, I mean, more bouncy. I mean, the target to the downside is down here, and then swing the Qs down. But I'm still making that decision right now as we speak. I think the Qs could actually, I mean, they could rock your socks off too. We're still seeing selling here at the end of the day. What's up, Ivy? Next week will be peak of Mercury RX. I think I got that at the pharmacist once. Last year, August, there was a similar Mercury. You got to explain what is RX? I made a lot of money in puts with QQQ. Retrograde? Oh, not again. See if I ever thought about putting Mercury in Gatorade. You guys got it. That shit is so funny. Man, Mercury's in Gatorade. Y'all got to listen to your girl more. I did make a lot of money. I like Mercury retrograde though, honestly. I think that's when I really shine. Does that mean I'm a demon? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. By the way, hold on. Sis, you're not watching me right now on TikTok, are you? Steph, if you're on here, say something. Gotta wait a few minutes. All right. My sister wants to join. I'm mad scared. She's my stepsister. We're cool, but I haven't seen her in, maybe like 15, 16, 17 years, maybe longer than that. But she definitely is a church goer. And I don't know if I want her to know everything about me. I bit down. I see that hitting 63.50 and possibly 62.80. She's gonna. Damn. Surely you need to tell me what's happening next week, though. What is my thoughts on J&J? I absolutely detest this stock. It's just a terrible, horrible stock, trader. Did bounce off a baby structure today. It is over 169.82. That would lead you only to 172. And that could be a catalyst to potentially drive you up to 178. But do you do options only or do you swing? I swing options and I also buy equity. I don't do option selling or anything like that, but Steelio, you can't do that. That's me. Okay? That's my profile. That's my profile picture. That's still me. That was my intellectual property, dude. Wait, hold on. I didn't mean it like that. Never mind. Let it slide. 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 Let it slide.
So you own the person in that?
No, stop it. Stop. Anyway, this is 39.07. No, I do weekly contracts, but I do longer expirations as well. That's crazy, bro. I see a target of 39 down there. 40 will be obviously psychological target. But with that candle close underneath there, 40, 70 would be your your median price. That's exactly why my sister can't get near, dude. All right. What else did I miss in the Discord? I see the chat. Hold on. TTD. So it's tough to call for more upside. Today you did not lose any ground, so it's still possibly, yes, in play. You bounced off of like the median or held the median of that range, which, basically, yeah, if you can break over the top here, there's nothing really else for you to do but to attempt to try to take this one up. So if you are in this one, again, the candle close doesn't confirm anything yet, but it does look good. You just, again, look at the worst case scenario if you're looking to hedge. So, if Figma, what is it? Yeah, Fig, whatever. So again, it was funny last night. People were like, "Oh, it's going to fucking 200s, 300s." I was like, dude, that thing is coming back down tomorrow. Now, I could sit and actually tell this thing comes back down. And in fact, I believe that it doesn't just come back down, it goes all the way below 84. Now, I can't tell you what that price target will be, but I do have a little system, a little trick that I like to do to find it. I think again, there's likely going to be a retest of 133 first. And if you reject off of that and we end up coming back down, once this 117 is lost, I don't see anything other than moving into the 75s. And if it is a good stock, right? I don't even know what the fuck this is. If I'm being honest with you, I have no idea what Figma is. I don't know what they do. It's probably AI related, maybe Sigma related, Skibbity related. Who knows? But this is definitely one that is just really popular for this IPO. So the volume is there, but that likely means they're going to look at that's. So let me explain why I think that. When good IPOs that like to go and continue to rip off IPO, which is very rare anyway, you typically go down on IPO, or you go up, down, and then right back up. You have to fill, like if this is a stock that the big boys want to get, you think they're going to let you get away? Do you think they're going to just take that? There's orders down there. No, that thing's coming back down. Jamia, yes, does still look okay. I think it could be one of those ones. It looks okay, but it is definitely something that, if it ends up breaking above today's high, you get out of there. Now that's probably not something that most people can tolerate, but and you did wick out for that. But yes, it does look good for a potential punchback, but you need to have good expiration behind that because you have multiple targets to break. So I would say at least 2 weeks or next week's contracts aren't going to cut it, I don't think. And if it does break below 425, then you could potentially add those. 1 minute remaining. Got it. Beautiful.
That was a nice recovery on Neo.
Yeah, right? Really nice recovery. Nice little squeeze up. I mean, who knows? Maybe China. I mean, every other Chinese stock doesn't look that good. Baidu.
No, just
Cool.
Neo for now.
Yep. Cars. We're gonna go ahead and stop the recording. I'll hang out here a little bit longer with you guys on TikTok. If you guys want to come over and kick it. I don't know if I have guest request up, but if I do, you guys could request to be up if you want to say something, talk shit, not get me banned. That would be cool. But we'll go ahead and I'll record the earnings breakdown. I'm just going to surf through. This isn't going to be like, but there is a lot of good earnings that I would like to build a small watch list for. So I have Qs, and what are we going to take the Qs to? Well, oh, shit. For me, I think the Qs, I mean, when I look at this 24-hour, dude, it tells it, this is just screaming for a retest. 540. That's a long, long ways away, So even if we were to go and replicate exactly what we were able to do, which typically we like to do this in threes, right? But even if we were able to replicate that perfectly, damn, I hate when I prove myself wrong. Holy shit. So maybe, but it does look pretty feasible. But that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, the only difference here, or the only factor here, is that there could be a gnarly Monday morning gap up that leads to a quick pop up and then a flush back down to go fill the gap below, and that's what actually drives price down. So it could be something that we enter on Monday.
I haven't heard this voice in so long.
Oh my God.
Oh
What are
my
you-
god.
What are you doing, dude? Missed you.
Yeah, dude, I miss your voice too. I was like, oh, I gotta hear it.
Yeah, and you just caught the tail end of the recording. So there you go, YouTube. There's a
Oh.
little taste of Manny.